We're doing this for the fans at the end of the day, the same fans. And this has now just caused us to delay, which hurts a lot of our team and our hard work for the past 4 years. And it's let down a lot of fans. So I'm Dean Carter. My username is Prelodog. We often go by both. And I'm the project lead of Fallout London and Team Folon.
Fallout London's been getting a lot of attention this week. Fallout London is a mod. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, could you just give us a little quick explanation?
Of course, that's a question I've not had in a while. So mod is short for modification. So what typically happens is a big corporation, in this case Bethesda, they have released their game, Fallout 4, and they have these modification tools that come out for the public to use. It helps give their games longevity over a long period of time so that people can play and do different things. Something as simple as maybe they want to change what the main character is wearing from blue to pink. That would technically be a mod. We've just sort of took it to the nth degree where we have created a whole new world space. We've basically created a game within a game. So you can no longer play basically their version of the game because theirs is based in Boston in America. Ours is all based in London. So if you imagine it's a completely different world, all based within that.
Because the TV show's come out, Fallout, Bethesda, sorry, the makers of Fallout have decided, oh, we're going to just go and give Fallout 4 a bit of an update, a bit of a spring clean. And that, when did you become aware that was happening?
So this is what's interesting about their recent update is that they had originally announced it for some point in 2023. I forgot what year we're at, 2023, and they never gave a set date. And we were actually due to do our first release there, but we had some internal issues where we couldn't release that year. So we delayed until 2024, and we chose a day that would work well for us. It would be after the series had come out, and also related to when the in-game start date is, as well as it was St. George's Day, so on the 23rd of April. All worked for us, and it was going to be great. But then Bethesda delayed their update, and we also thought if it had come out in 2023, it would give us a long enough period to fix whatever might have been broken as well. So it was all planned. We had like serious thoughts about this. And then Bethesda delayed that. And then this is the thing, they randomly dropped it on the 25th that they were going to bring it out on 25th of April, which for a lot of us was, I don't want to say suspect because that makes it sound malicious, but if you were a big corporation and there's a fantastic series that has come out, you'd think you'd like co-align it. You'd have that update ready on the same day the series comes out. Well, it dropped on the 25th, which is just after. I don't think it's malicious, but it just seems like a very arbitrary date for them to drop. So yeah, so that has, for a lack of a better term, sort of screwed us over somewhat. So,
because your mod is an unofficial
correct.
mod,
Yes, it's unofficial. Yeah.
Ordinarily, if it had been an official project, you might have had some nod from Bethesda that it was coming, so you guys could make changes well ahead of time in anticipation. Which is, yeah, but obviously because you're not official, that hasn't happened, and that's why it's come as a surprise.
Yes, yeah, a complete surprise. I mean, we've had absolutely zero correspondence with Bethesda. We've spoken to a community manager, of which we have been told, because that community manager has got back in contact with us since the announcement. Apparently, they've had people at Bethesda breathe down their neck saying, like, why haven't you spoken to them, blah, blah. But this is partly the issue is it's a community manager, that they're not a decision maker. I don't know what decisions we can be granted, frankly, but their job is to basically ensure that, I guess, people are towing the line or how to make sure that their installations work. I don't want to downplay any community manager's role out there, that it does serve a purpose, but we need to talk to people that, we can know these things, because this is definitely snowballed. Like, we see ourselves as just developers who sit around in our pajamas, quite frankly, to then have this big corporation where we get like millions of views on YouTube videos. We've outperformed some of their Fallout 76 announcements, which is another game that they're doing that relates to the series. You'd think that they would have at least had a conversation to just be like, look, you guys are clearly at least notable. You're not official, but let's make sure that we don't ruin this for the fans, because we're doing this for the fans at the end of the day, the same fans. And this has now just caused us to delay, which hurts a lot of our team and our hard work for the past 4 years. And it's let down a lot of fans. And as a result, as we've seen from the sort of backlash from the video, is that people are blaming Bethesda, even though I asked them sort of not to. And I think that's inevitable when there's that lack of communication. So I just wish that they had a conversation with us, you know.
Companies take very different approaches to unofficial projects. I mean, if you look at someone like Nintendo, who, I mean, you wouldn't have lasted 4 minutes, let alone
No,
four,
no,
four
no.
years probably. But
Yeah.
Is that broadly normal for companies to have so little contact with, or is it hard to say because everyone's
Well,
different?
it's weird. So Bethesda's definitely fantastic with their community. I think they know that their business model relies on mods and stuff, and they do support mods to an extent, but in a way that they keep trying to do these different forms of these things called creation clubs or monetization mods. They're now doing another scheme. They've gone through so many schemes that just never seems to really like hit home and really keep the fan base happy. But all of those schemes, like potentially Fallout London could have been on one of those, and that way we could have worked together, or we could have gone through things. Like maybe they could have had someone like look through and be like, right, we'll support you, but maybe not if you've got this in or this in or whatever. Like maybe there's some legality issues here, this music can't be used or whatever. But I mean, that's still a conversation. We haven't had that. And yeah, that's where we've sort of become where we are now. And like we've signed NDAs with big companies, you know. Why haven't we done that? They could just say, well, look, this is when it's due to come out. Maybe get your PR in order or talk to your fans, cage expectations, because this is going to happen rather than just blindsiding us out of nowhere, which is what's happened.
A bit hesitant to encourage too much speculation, but it sounds like from the note of kind of frustration in your voice, you are pretty puzzled as to why they've kept you at arm's length so much. Does that feel about
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I do understand that there is always going to be a hesitancy with working with the community because we're not industry professionals. Some people on the team are, but for example, even myself, I am not. I've been offered roles in the industry and turned them down for this project, but I've not worked in the games industry. So I can understand why they're hesitant to be like, okay, these random people in their eyes, let's get them on board with something. But as I said, there are schemes that they do where they do work with community members. So why hasn't that been done? That is the bit that sort of frustrates us somewhat. Yeah.
Fallout London, I guess, just again because people in the wider audience might not know how is it being funded, and is it something that people have to pay for?
So this is actually an interesting concept in that the modding like world, it's all volunteer based. So we're all volunteers. But what people don't realize is that like modding costs us money. It's our, you know, people see it as a hobby and hobbies do cost money. But when it starts scaling, the monetary side doesn't scale with it. So we, in order to have our whole team, we've got quite a large team. We have to make sure that our Discord, which is what we use to talk, is paid for. Our website, our file storage, and how we can bundle our work, that all costs money, and it's not cheap. So that's like my savings have been obliterated, like because of this, because it's such a passion project for us. So because there isn't that level of support in there or sort of monetary aspect coming back, this is where we had to set up Team Folon, which allows us to do YouTube and the like. And that's like a completely separate entity, and that like allows that to happen. But for Fallout London itself as that entity, no, that it just costs us money to do all of this. And then at the end, we release a free product. So, you know, and that doesn't even account to the, I don't even want to know how much, like how many hours we've worked for free. Like if we were to put that on like even on a minimum wage standpoint, yeah, like there's a lot of money that we work for free for.
So why have you done this if you're pouring, like, you're saving so much time into it? Yeah, what's behind it?
So definitely a snowball effect, I think, as I said earlier. So I'm a backpacker. I mean, these are all my travel goodies behind me. When the project first started, it was real grassroots. Me and my friend had a conversation about how this would work, like London in a Fallout setting. I went off and traveled, but it was like planted that seed where I just kept thinking about it, kept thinking about it. And then the pandemic hit, and suddenly I found myself grounded in the UK with 2 years to myself. And a lot of other of developers had the same thing. So it started off with like we had nothing else to do, so why not make a game? So we did. And then it was towards the end of the pandemic, we released our little trailer, what we thought was little, that then got 3.5 million views and blew up. And then it was like, oh, this is now a thing. So then we were like, well, we're always doing this for the fans anyway. But then it become very much, well, we're going to do the best thing we can do for the fans. And then by that point, 2 years, we had definitely gone into what's known in the industry as content creep, where you just start adding too much content. But our Mount Everest, because we had that 2 years, we managed to get to the top. So we suddenly had this huge world, and we're like, right, well, we can actually do this, so let's finish it. And the 23rd of April was when it should be finished, and we had accounted for that. So everyone's got hobbies, and it does cost them money, so we were aware of that. But it would have been nice if there was some, I guess, kickback at the end, which isn't unheard of in the industry. I think Minecraft, I think they have like a modding scene. I don't quite remember that. I think they have a modding scene where it allows people to upload these and they can get like a small percentage back. It benefits the company because they get the larger cut or whatever. But yeah, Bethesda doesn't seem to really do that at the moment, not on the scale of other businesses.
With particular efforts for that, London, what is it that has really captured people's imagination, got their interest for this one, do you think? Because as I say, it has really taken on this life, and it's got this interest kind of above and beyond a lot of other mods, right?
So it's probably because it's the first one to take place outside the US. So all of the Fallout games, the TV shows, everything, it's all been USA based. Obviously, ours is like it delves into that British culture, which is obviously being British and going to be biased. It's very, very strong. We have our own nod to the BBC called the BBM. Like it's these things that have always been like staples of like British society and the like. And I think it definitely plays well into the Fallout setting. We stereotype ourselves quite a lot. Like when people think of like London and British people, for some reason we all have bowler hats, like umbrellas and that. And that sort of caricature is very prevalent in the Fallout series, in the Americas. So I think it worked very well with it in England and the UK, etc. So I think that's drawing people to it. And like the original creators floated ideas of doing something in what was called the European Civil War, which was a part of the lore of the backstory. So people may be able to sort of dip their toe in with our mod and be like, so this is what they never made. So I think that's what people are seeing it as.
It must be a very annoying position to be in, considering how close you were to finally getting this thing out there. And then, so there's probably not much profit in me asking you when we might likely to see it, because
this is the thing that's very frustrating. We had it ready to go. Like we had our release candidate, we were all happy with it, and we were just like, nope, that's got to come down, because it would have just broke. So it is the case of when the third parties fix those issues, we then need to, the thing is as well, I don't want people to think that as soon as like they have released their fixes, then we'll be good to go. We then need to make sure that those fixes then work with ours as well. So it's like 2 levels of fixes, and then it will come out. But yeah, it is very, very frustrating to be in.
I appreciate your time, and hope to see Fallout London at some point.
Me too.
Yeah.